Hi guys. So today I want to talk about a little about the absolute crisis in Canada, which is the housing crisis. One of many crises, honestly, as things are falling apart at the seams, it seems like. But yes, this is a huge crisis, and one that hasn't been solved. It has been willfully neglected by our elected officials on both sides of the political spectrum. Well, really only one side. The thing is that it's a problem that is so common and has been so present throughout history. It has been solved and it can be solved, but there's no will. The problem is because there's no will, it's because there is no profit to solve it. What we see now are prices of homes going artificially skyrocketing. Rent is artificially skyrocketing. Land for farmers, anything to do with any sort of land, home, anything, it's skyrocketing. And it's because of willful neglect on the part of our elected officials, because they're the only ones who can solve this. Unless we, the people of Canada, rise up and start chopping heads like we're some French revolutionaries, this is not going to get solved. Now, there's a few things that absolutely can be done. In front of me here, I have open a short article about what the World War II veterans came back to. Basically, these veterans went to Europe, went to Asia to fight the fascists and destroy them. They gave their lives, they gave their time, they gave their families' lives. These men and women, quite a few women also participated in this, but these people, um, they came back to a country after the war was won, and they came back to a country in shambles, to a government that was neglecting them, in all honesty. And they didn't take any of it. They realized that they fought and they deservingly deserved a fair deal with the government in order to get their lives back on track or even start their lives, as many teenagers were coming back from becoming teenagers into adults. The government did act eventually, which is thankfully, and under various acts, jobs were created, land was given, low interest, extremely low interest loans were given to these men and women and their families of those who died to make sure they would have a decent level of living after the war. And it worked. It boomed, the post war economy boomed, and it was all thanks to government policies. Even an entire university, as set out here, uh, says right here, was made to educate Canadians, and they deserved it. Now, we see something similar happening now, whether we're not fighting a world war, but we are facing a crisis. The same type of crisis that these men and women and their families faced back at the end of World War II. We see skyrocketing crisis prices for anything to do with land, and it's become ridiculous, absolute ridiculous. No one, unless you're making 400K a year plus your daddy's down payment money covering your payment of a new house, no one can afford these prices. And it's been done on purpose through corporations like BlackRock and small time and individuals buying up huge swaths of land, homes, in order to rent, in order to hold on to make sure the price increases up more artificially. And frankly, they're the very people who should be stopping this sort of behavior, who have the power to stop this behavior, our government, our elected officials, especially our conservative officials who have yet to produce anything to solve any of these crises, and even the complete willful inaction of our liberal party. These people are being paid off. They're being paid off by these individuals who buy huge swaths of land. They're being paid off by the corporations like BlackRock buying up huge swaths of land. They're being paid off through a system called lobbying. Because here in the West, and all these are NATO aligned, and in Europe and the West, all these countries, we do not have corruption. We have lobbying, where corporations and individuals can advance their certain political ideologies and aspirations through money, which is corruption. And it's labeled corruption everywhere else in the civilized world. Now, of course, we need these sort of policies that the that the men and women who fought during World War II got. We need them today. And you know, a lot of people will say, this generation of millennials and young have not fought a war. We don't deserve this type of help. We haven't fought a war. We haven't died. We haven't been wounded. We haven't lost loved ones to deserve this kind of help. And to those people, I say simply, do we need to die? Do we need to be killed? Do we need to be wounded, lose our hands, fingers, limbs in order to be taken seriously, in order to be taken care of, in order to be treated with dignity? Because a person living in their late 50s being forced to live against their will in their parents' homes, in their basements, because they can't afford things like groceries or rent or mortgages. This is not living with dignity. It is absolutely not. It's the exact opposite. And getting these programs, even if it's just a crumb of what these individuals after World War II faced, even if it's just a crumb of that, it'd be better than now, which is complete stagnation and indifference and willful ignorance of what's happening. Now, the thing is, we need these programs. It helps the economy. It's been proven through history. This case in point, the post-war economy in Canada was booming. It took a little time, but it boomed. And right now we're seeing inflation levels, record unemployment, record everything. Everything that is bad to do with the economy, it's happening now. And this is a huge part of what we can do to kickstart Canada, to kickstart our generation, to kickstart everything. This will help Canadians, but it's not profitable. And that's why we're not seeing it happen.